Exercise 712 is going to have us work actually with the stack of integers class, which is already written. Okay, this is one available from the textbook chapter. We are going to work with it. That means we don't have to write it. We are not going to even extend it, so I'm just going to display it real quick. You can find it in your textbook. Okay. We are going to use the features offered by this class in our own application. This application will simply try to compute the smallest factors of an integer. So we are going to start by importing a scanner. Import java.util.scanner, just because we need to read some data from users. Okay. We are going to have our scanner s equal new scanner s system.in. We're like really familiar with this by now. Um, int, I'm going to have an integer, so I'm going to call it number, simple enough, equal s dot next int. Before that, a quick system dot out dot println to invite the user, print actually to invite the user to enter an integer. And we are set for the first part. Okay, we just ask an integer, we read it, and then we are going to create our stack of integers. We'll call that variable stack. It's a new stack of integers. I'm creating an object of class stack of integer. I'm going to rely on the default value for the size. Let me double check how this works. There we go. Stack of integer without anything specified. My stack of integer would be of size 16. Then it doesn't matter because the stack will grow as needed. So no problem with that. We have now our number from the user. We have a stack of integer. We are going to try to find all the smallest factors of this integer. And then we are going to store them in that stack. Okay, so we're going to start with factor 2. We're going to have a while loop. While the factor is lesser and equal to the number, we keep iterating. Okay, once we are done, system.out.println, well, the factors of number, we replace that by the number itself. The factor of number are, drumroll, and then we are going to display all the factors here. So the idea is that as we discover new factor in this loop, we are going to push them onto the stack, so that once we are done, we can, as long as the stack is not empty, which we verify by calling the empty method of the stack of integers class, as long as the stack is not empty, we can just pop a value, println, stack dot, actually let me do a print instead, stack dot pop, which removes the top value of the stack, followed by, just going to follow this with a space, close my parentheses, clean up my mess, and I'm done. So it's really easy, assuming that we build this list of factors as a stack, to then keep removing the last entry of the stack. Remember, a stack is working by first value in is actually the last value out. So the exercise is asking us to display those factors, smallest factors in reverse order, then we discover them. So we are going to start with the biggest factor and we're going to terminate with the smallest one, and this is provided to us for free pretty much by the stack structure. Now what do we do inside of this loop? Well, first we determine if factor is actually a divisor of number. So if the modulo operation is 0, then what we need to do is, well, stack push factor, first thing. I found a factor. Second operation, number is equal to number divided by factor. And I'm going to continue my search for the next factor. You will notice that I do not change the value of factor. Okay, if I determine, for example, that 2 is a factor of 10, I divide 10 by 2, which leaves me with 5, but I'm going to try again to determine if 2 is now a factor of 5. So only if, when I realize that factor is not a divisor, I increment finally factor. Okay, so that's a lot of code. Let's save. We're going to go to Conqueror, javac. We are going to compile every Java file in this directory, and we are going to run our main. Give me an integer. Let's start with 30. The factor of 1 are 5, 3, and 2. That doesn't make a lot of sense. So let's go back. Let's see where we messed up. Where I messed up. Int number blah 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 as dot next int. Create my new stack, which I could wait a little. To do factor is 2. Factor is incremented blah blah blah. The factor of number, and this is a number variable which I read from the user r. Okay, what I'm displaying here is I'm displaying what is left of the variable number. That's why it's not working. So let me address this issue. There are two ways I could address this issue. One is just to say, well, I'm going to save the original value of number, but I really don't care about it. So instead of doing that, I'm just going to display the factors of number r, and then I'm going to work on number. And by the time I'm done, of course, number will be 1, because I will have divided it successively. But that's okay. That doesn't matter very much, because I will have all of my result displayed on the screen. And I'm going to add a little println at the end, just to make everything pretty, since I noticed that in the console, once I was done working, you see how the next line was tangled with the previous one. So let me compile, no syntax error, let me run 30, 5, 3, and 2. And there we go. We're done with this exercise. Let me push back the code on the screen here.